So when we were first talking in your studio about the exhibition, we were talking a lot about the distinctions between the characters, these two characters, young and old, in terms of innocence and experience. And I was wondering how you might define them both in relation to one another, or kind of individually, both Caitlin and Kate.
Mm-hmm. 2 years ago I met Kate, Shanghai Kate, in the street by chance. It's one of the only person that I met in New York. I saw her on the street, I didn't know who she, and then I followed her, I started talking to her, she gave me her card, I looked at her website, then I discovered she's a tattoo artist, or as she claimed to be, the first female tattoo artist in America. And then I was really excited about it, but we met. It was hard to convince her for the first time, but we met and I took her portraits. She really liked it. I sent her the photo, she really likes it. And then a year after, I get a text message to come to Alaska. She chose to go there, and then she invited me to go there. And I went there a year ago to spend time with her, to record her. I knew she's what she is, and I wanted to know more about the struggle that she had as a female tattoo artist in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when it was hard to be a female tattoo artist, because it was a man field. I returned from Alaska, but I didn't touch the work, I didn't know what to do with it. One day I took the train to my studio, and suddenly I saw a girl that I was struck by. She didn't look like that, like the picture, because she was wearing long sleeves, so it wasn't because of the tattoos that I kind of was really like, she stalked me, and her face or something about her reminds me myself or something. And I had one stop before I went to my studio, and I was asking her if I can take her portrait, if she agreed that I would take her portrait. I said, actually, yeah, I have an hour to kill, so yeah, okay. And then a year after, I mean this year, when we started to think about the show, I put these two photographs together, and I was starting to think about the relationship between those two portraits, those two females, that both of them dealing with tattoo.
It's interesting the way that, I guess, this space in particular, with the kind of the different, kind of the white, the red and the blue, and also the darker spaces, you kind of use this exhibition as a kind of fictitious meeting point for these two characters, as if they kind of coexist, when in fact they've never met. So I was kind of wondering about where you see yourself in this, because there is, as you say, these points of intersection that you are kind of caught in between, but there's a certain sense in which the way that you photographed them, the way that you've included yourself, like at the very end of the film explicitly, and in the video, like throughout actually by implication, that you kind of appear as a kind of subject. You know, it becomes not just a portrait of two women, one young, one old, but also a kind of portrait of yourself. And you're also your kind of approach to nationality and gender, and also kind of the political body. Do you think that that's kind of fair assumption, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's also that. I mean, I let them be. First of all, I let them be as they are. That's my first like desire, to let my characters, my people, let be. I really respect them. I really want them to express themselves through the work. But then, of course, there is the direction that things are going, or I mean, sometimes I don't agree with everything, or I just let them be.
Yeah. But
I do identify with them in many ways.
There is a sense in which you kind of adopt the aesthetics of documentary, but it's not documentary. There's something else kind of going on. There's a kind of an embrace of the more mythic qualities. Shanghai Kate is somebody, of course, who's kind of created her own biographical myth about her struggles, where she's from, where she's going, and of course where she's going, kind of, you get the sense that it has been many directions, from, you know, underground tattooing in New York to practicing in the Midwest to, you know, moving to Alaska, and now she's, you know, she's not even in the States anymore. So we kind of move through this kind of construction of her narrative, but there's also a sense that it's a myth, that there is this kind of enjoyment of myth as a kind of, as an abstraction of biography, or a kind of willful projection. Would you be able to talk a little bit about your relationship to to documentary?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel I have the ability or the interest to do a straightforward documentary work at all, and I do like the real. I mean, I do the real and the real people and the real relationship and the real things, and really attract me, and I really see it as you know, source of materials that I work with. I mean, I think people is the most interesting thing in the world, and I respect that. I mean, I can't invent it. I mean, I can't invent her. She's herself. She's her own invention. Both of them. I can't invent this kind of thing. But I do choose, select what I want to embrace more, what is interesting for me to focus on, and I did focus on her few things specifically in her life. I mean, her life is really full of stories, full of things. I couldn't include everything, and maybe I don't need to, yeah, she's a rebel, first of all. She's not living life like everybody else. She chose to live life of an artist. I mean, artist in her view is a total artist. First of all, text is major part of this work, I feel, because also in the video, Kate talk, and her talking, the way what she say is like a real text. If you rewrite everything, all the text that's in the video, you will get something very, very interesting. Like a story, like a poem even. The way she expresses herself is very literal, very interesting in terms of text. That's why I made the jacket. Caitlin, it's more of image. Caitlin is more an image than digging into her life or her personality, because I feel that what she's doing is more of art with tattoo. I mean, I choose to focus on her art more, the art of body art that she's doing, that expressing herself, and she talks through this, and I really identify with the things that she said, and also she's text because she influenced by traditional American things like Archie, the comics, and songs, and saying, and you know, she really influenced. It's cultural thing. I mean,
can you talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the elements in the show, like your decision about the lighting of the spaces? Might be a good place to start.
Well, yeah, I mean, my work I show my work, especially in the last few years, as an installation, even if it's based in photography or video, but it expresses itself as an installation, and the story is more in your head, in the viewer head, than really on the wall or the video. I mean, I really think that the experience of traveling along this corridor or seeing the video puts better the story into like place than I telling you exactly what's going on. It's more about the experience. Okay, so when you get to the red bay, you see a different relationship between the images of the two characters, and also the way they look is different, because this is kind of the last photograph I took of each one of them. One, Kate, it looks much more raw and free, and I mean, kind of we both kind of had some kind of, you know, I mean, you see that we had a relationship, something happened through this time that we were working together, and I could ask her do stuff, and she could ask me, I mean, or she can offer to be topless, and I, you know, put the American flag because I see her as a hero, but, you know, it's not something that she was really like, thought that she's representing, but for me, she is, in a way. Or I wanted to check this relationship, at least, in the image. And yeah, and also it's pointing to different kind of contexts with sailors and then the blue room is different a little bit because it's kind of closing the journey. I mean, this corridor is like a journey, like a time tunnel, and it closes it in my question, why didn't you have children, which is something that I'm coming to ask. I'm asking what I'm interested, maybe from my own personal life, and I'm investigating my subject, which relate to other work that I'm doing, because I'm curious about things from my life, or not only for their life.